Hey everyone, Kyle Meinke here from MLive&apos. I'm at Ford Field. The Lions have just won 24-23 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Lions have been involved in plenty of close games like this one throughout the year, lost most of them. They were 1-3 on right a three-game losing streak, but were able to beat, of course, beat the first place Philadelphia Eagles, who had been undefeated. It's a very Lionsy thing to do, lose to the Bears 1 week, come back next week and beat the one of the last remaining unbeaten teams in the league. But this was all about big plays in the end from their best players, and that's exactly what we want to see. You see a guy like Darius Slay, who signed a $50 million deal extension in the offseason. I mean, you pay that guy that kind of money because he can play, and he really can play. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league last year. He's been very good for the Lions this year, and I think that's gone a little bit undersaid because of all the struggles the Lions have had throughout the first few weeks of the season. But he's been very good in coverage, and today you saw the difference. You saw two really game-changing, game-making plays from the Slay for the Lions. First, the forced fumble he had there along the sideline with a couple of minutes to go. Got the ball back for the Lions. He did exactly what you teach a guy to do in that kind of situation. He popped Matthews right on the ball with his helmet, popped it loose. It was there right along the sideline. Jim Caldwell almost got ran over, showing emotion and all that kind of stuff. Real life emotion. He must be human after all. But it was a great play from Slay, and it led to the game-winning field goal from Matt Prater. And then he comes back on the very next defensive snap. There's still a minute and some change left. The Eagles have a chance. They take a shot deep. Carson Wentz does, and Slay's all over Nelson Aguilar. Comes up with the ball, and that's what you really like to see from a guy like that. I mean, Slay has been a good cornerback for a while now, but he has not always had the best ball skills. He has not always been great at forcing turnovers like that. He only had 4 interceptions in his first 48 career games, and Glover Quinn was just talking recently, a couple weeks ago, about how experience plays such a critical role in those kinds of situations, being able to anticipate where a guy is going to be or where a guy is going, and that anticipation can be the difference between a broken up ball and an intercepted ball. And we saw that exactly on that play with Aguilar. He was in his hip pocket. Wentz saw something in the play that said he should go deep to Aguilar. He did. Left it up too high and immediately regretted it because it was Slay was right there, and even if he didn't catch it, he was going to still break up the play. But he was able to come up with the ball, downed it, game was over, and that's a huge play from a guy like that. But he wasn't the only hero in this game too. It was other guys like Matthew Stafford, in between those two picks, leading a drive deep into Eagles territory there to set up the field goal from Matt Prater. And obviously the big play there was the 27-yard pass to Golden Tate. And I thought that was really encouraging to see from a guy in Tate who had been really struggling throughout the year, and that's a really positive development. Jim Bob Cooter said last week he was expecting Tate to have a really big game, a huge game against the Eagles, and we can now see why. It wasn't just hopeful thinking. It wasn't just a pep talk for a guy who was struggling. Tate was highly involved in this game plan, and right from the start too. And I loved what the Lions did earlier with him, getting him the ball in the backfield, lining him up at tailback. He took a quick pitch, which was almost like a direct snap to early in that game as well. He was in motion and the ball went to Stafford, and then it was a quick pitch to Tate, and he took it right to the goal line. And one play later, Stafford threw a touchdown to Marvin Jones. I mean, these were really encouraging things to see from Tate. It got him involved early, and also it kept Jim Schwartz off balance. And I thought that was really important because no one knows Matthew Stafford as well as Jim Schwartz. He knows tendencies for a lot of the personnel on this team, and introducing a new wrinkle like that this week, something that they hadn't prepared for likely, was really good game planning. I thought really good play calling on Jim Bob Cooter's part, and I think that was a big reason why you saw the quick start from the Lions. Touchdowns on the first 3 drives there, and then of course Tate had the huge 27-yard reception at the end of the game. He said after the game, I asked him about it. He had said he ran the route actually a little deeper than what he was anticipating. He had to look at the film to actually see what happened, but it was good anticipation on Matthew Stafford's part to see what was happening, to see where Tate was. He was a little bit deeper on the route, to see where the defensive alignment was, and to put the ball exactly where it needed to be. It was a hell of a play from Stafford, a hell of a play from Tate. It's a huge reason why that play worked and gave Matt Prater a chip shot to win this game. I don't think. I've already been asked on a couple of radio interviews, what does this game mean for the Lions? Are they suddenly back, or what is it? I don't know if we've learned anything new. This is still a talented team, I think, that can beat teams if they get hot. If Matt Stafford plays well, we've seen that. But they're also flawed enough, I think, as we saw today, they allowed 16 unanswered points there in the second half. That happens too, and I think that's going to persist throughout much of this year. I think they'll be good enough to keep games interesting, but you're still going to see some struggles at various points, especially until DeAndre Levy and Ezekiel Ansah gets back. This game doesn't change things necessarily for the Lions. It doesn't put them into contention, but it certainly keeps the things interesting for a little while longer, because if you're sitting at 1-4 going into a game next week against the surprisingly good Rams, maybe this season is already ruined. And that has not happened. It keeps the Lions relevant for at least another week. In Detroit, Ford Field, after a Lions win, I am Kyle Meinke for MLive.com.